Hey everybody, this is Walter with AccessToPower, and today I wanted to show you a second method for motor sequencing. In the last video, I showed you probably the most traditional method using the contacts on the other starters to sequence motor starters. But today I'm going to show you a completely different way to do it. So let's get right into it. Alright, so here on my board, I've put everything back the way it was. So if I turn my power on and I release the stop button, the emergency stop, I can turn any starter on in any order I want. So right now, everything is wired up in the traditional 3-wire start-stop. And so with this method, and I'm going to show you a schematic, we'll be looking at the schematic while we go through this. Hopefully we can get all this on the same screen. I want to show you how we can easily, and this time I'm going to just change the buttons a little bit, and I'm going to use only the emergency stop and one stop button, and that one stop button is going to control all our starters, but our starters are going to start in sequence. And all we're going to do right now, this stop button feeds this start button, this stop button feeds this start button, this stop button feeds this start button. So on the motor starter number 1, we're going to leave exactly the same way. We're going to leave the 3-wire start-stop unchanged. What we're going to do for motor starter number 2 is we're going to take the power that feeds the start button, we're going to feed it from the start signal of motor starter number 1. So we're going to come over here, and this is the start signal from motor starter number 1, and we're going to land our wire for motor starter number 2 right there. So now when we push the start button, this is energized, this is also energized. And when the holding contact for our starter is engaged, it'll keep our blue wire energized, which will also keep the start button energized on the top side, and our holding contactor for the second starter on. And then for the third one, we're going to do exactly the same thing. We're going to come over, pull it off that stop button. We're going to feed it from the start signal of motor starter number 2. This is not the traditional way of doing it. It's just an alternate method. And so I just want to show you guys lots of different ways to get the same kind of result. I would probably, in the field, use the method I showed you in the last video. So that's it. That's it. So none of this wiring had to change. We just changed our sequence of what's feeding our next stop button, or start button, I should say. And so let me turn that around. I'll turn the power on. I'll release our stop button, our emergency stop. So I cannot turn on motor number 2. I cannot turn motor number 3 on, but I can turn number 1 on. Number 1 is on. I cannot turn on number 3, but I can start number 2. Now I can start number 3. And these buttons, remember, we disconnected them, so they're not doing anything. But if I hit the stop button, all of them will stop, and again, they must be started in sequence. And that is the second method of sequencing motor starters. Hope you enjoy these videos. If you like these videos, give us a thumbs up. Click on the bell to be notified whenever we put out a new video. And until the next time, have a great day.